Now to get started on the next rooms, as you can see, I already illustrated how to show you the first 3 rooms, and if we take our measuring tool, we can see that from any exterior to another exterior should be an even, or at the worst case scenario, 6 inches. So for example, this will be 4 foot 6 inches, and if I go from here to here, this will be 3.5. All right. So what we're going to see in this next video is how to continue adding more spaces in different ways. For example, I hopefully already explained in the previous video that when we look at our paperwork, our layouts, you should have squared or rectangle off everything just to make it easier to create the next space. In my case, my next room is only 12 feet, so I can't take this whole thing. I'm going to cut it again and measure 12 feet in this direction. So that's 12 apostrophe using my measuring tool. And then I'm going to zoom into here to see where that little anchor point is, or the node, whatever you want to call that. And if I make sure that my line is blue, that means it's straight and on that the correct axis over here. So I clicked it, and now I can pull that area out. I need to go out 18 feet. So let's see, 18 feet apostrophe, and that's actually my kitchen. This is my den, if you want to know. This is based on my real house, by the way. You don't have to do that. I just did that because I figured I had to make a house model anyway. It'd be much cooler to have one in my real house. You can make a fantasy house or whatever you want. First, I need to select these 3 areas. Alright, so I have those 3 edges, and I'm going to offset them 6 inches because that's standard real world wall thickness, and use my push-pull tool along with the Alt button. Still, we're still going to use that Alt Option button every single time to maintain the slab. Alright, and as I hover over this other edge, you know that it goes up 8 feet. So if I measure it now, it'll be including the slab 8 feet 6 inches. Alright, press escape. And now the problem is that I have this as a walkthrough, this area. There's 4 feet here that are going to be a walkthrough. So I'm going to tell the measuring tool that I want a 4 foot, typed in 4 apostrophe return, a 4 foot guideline there. So that told me that from here, this is 4 feet away. So what I'm going to do now is, I could do it multiple ways actually. I could go on to this edge and make sure that line is colored and straight. Or I could put the edge over here and just push it through the wall, which is what I'm going to do this time, just for something different. I can now push this through, and it'll open up that space. And now the person, if they were in the kitchen, can now walk down this area. Now I have some extra lines here, so I'm going to erase them. And you know that I'm extra careful about erasing because that could cause major problems for later. So I'm going to quickly go around my model and make sure that everything is the way I left it before I did the erasings. Nothing is blue. And just to show you an example of what a problem would look like, well, it would look something like this. We'd be able to see into the walls. Things would start to turn like a weird blue. So I'm going to Command Z that. And now I'm going to orbit a little bit so I can see better. This is now going to be a hallway coming out. And looking at the rest of my model, I can see that there's really going to be a big space coming out. But it's easier for me to just do one room at a time. So I'm going to cut my hallway right here, because this is the next thing that comes out that's not going to have any walls because it's a hallway. So it's going to come out. Let me check my measurements here. Well, it has 7 units, which we all know is times 2, so that's 14 feet. 14 apostrophe enter. And something's weird. That's quite a coincidence. I'm going to measure that to make sure it's right, and that is not 14, it's 8 feet. The reason is that when I pulled, it locked it to this position. So I'm going to press escape from that, and I know that 14 minus the 8 feet that it already is 6. So I'm going to pull it out 6 more feet. And now we're going to measure from here to make sure that that's 14 feet. You would definitely have this problem, so hopefully you just figured out, you just watched to see how I did it. All right, so I'm going to press escape there. Alright, so the next thing is that I have a closet in my kitchen. In reality, this isn't a closet, this is a staircase, but it's also a closet because my doorway is going to be over here, and it's a place where I can put coats on this side of the wall. So my closet is 4 feet by 8 feet. So basically I have choices. I can measure 4 feet over here, or I can measure 8 feet over here, but either way I gotta use one of these slabs to make the room. I'm gonna choose the 4 feet dimension. It makes an anchor point for me there. I do the same trick, come in here, make sure it's a colored line. It was blue. I'm now gonna pull this out, the length of the closet, which is 8 feet, 8 apostrophe. I'm gonna quickly grab my measuring tool and make sure that I'm doing everything right. So this is 4 feet, good. And this is 8 feet, awesome. Press escape, go over to my offset tool. And in this case, I actually need, no, I don't need all 4. I only need 3 walls. So I'm using the shift button again. I'm gonna collect the walls that I need to be walled in, and use my offset tool. Click it once so it's extendable, and then type in 6 inches, enter, and watch it lock into place. And when I pull it up the 8 feet, it's automatically still keeping my hallway. Well, it technically does have a wall because there's a wall there, but now my closet and staircase are inside here. All right, so I was telling you that my doorway is going to show up over here, which means we need a wall here. We don't want people to just walk into the house. So the problem with that is basically I don't want a wall sticking out over here, so I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. And this is where things are a little bit different. I'm going to pull this out 6 inches, and I'm going to leave markings to do that. So I'm going to pull this slab out 6 inches, and I'm going to use my pencil tool to click on this corner. Make sure that, again, I want it to be straight with my, or parallel with my axes. So I'm clicking that while it's colored, and this will allow me to make this wall that's going to be my, it's going to be my entryway actually. Now unfortunately I forgot to use my Alt button, so I'm going to do that right now. Click this one wall up. All right, so that's basically how you make a single wall. All right, so that's now my wall, and my entry door is eventually going to be here, but I told you that we're keeping doors for the end, and we're going to continue with that in mind. This next space to come out is going to bring this area out through to the, right here, to the end of my closet, and then it needs to come out an additional 4 feet in this direction. I basically have this cut off as a 4 by 4 foot, well, room, but it's not a room, it's a hallway. So I could do one of two things. I could pull this out 4 inches, or 4 feet rather, press enter, and I can continue my hallway. Another option was I could click here and tell this to go on the green line, 4 feet, and then I could bring out the room to meet that. So those are my two options. With I also have a very small closet against here, so I'm going to bring that out, and it happens to be equal with this point, so that's perfect. Unfortunately, now my closet needs some walls, so I'm going. It is with this wall, so I'm going to click here and look. Now it's a red line, so it's still a colored line, not black, so I know it's parallel to this axis right here. And then I have that ready, so I'm going to grab my selection tool, hold down shift, and select each of my 3 walls that need to come up. Now I know that this wall also needs to come up, but let's see how this works. I'm going to offset it, click once, bring it in 6 inches, enter, and then I'm going to grab my eraser tool to erase these little areas right here. And then I can pull this up, holding my Alt button again on my keyboard, and I lock that into place, and that's my small closet. So this will be my entry door. You could walk into my kitchen over here. You could take off your coat and put it in this closet or this closet. You could walk into my den once I have a door there, my closet and my garage, and you can see that I have a lot of rooms done now, and it's going really quick. Once you set that up so that you have that that slab, it's really easy to peel these rooms out. The next problem, though, is I just noticed as I was speaking to you that part of my slab is missing. I don't know whether I messed it up by not holding the option button, which is almost definitely what I did do. So I could go back in time, Command Z, and just kill all these rooms that I just made, or all these hallways and closets. Or I could do the intelligent thing and just click my pencil tool to recreate the slab here. I know that that's on the axis because it's green, and I can, or on the axis, it's green, and I can release it.